Hello and welcome to the BetHelper betting preview. The game we're going to be looking at now is the first quarter final. It's between the Netherlands and Brazil, scheduled for 3 p.m. on Friday the 2nd July. The venue here is Port Elizabeth, so we're going to be at sea level. If you look below in the description, you can follow the link to get my free ebook. It's 20 betting tips. It will answer most of the questions that I've received since making these videos. So if you want to get that free ebook, then just look at the link below and fill in your email address. So looking at the Asian markets for this match, the handicap here in Asia is Netherlands plus a half, Brazil minus a half. The movements here now have seen a bit of support for the Netherlands in the last day or so. It's obviously seen then that the Brazil minus a half has drifted slightly, so we might see the handicap change in Asia before kickoff. To be honest, I think it will stay at the half a goal handicap rate, but we'll see what happens. The unders and overs market in Asia, the handicap here is 2.25. It is picking up a bit of support. The odds are shortening there, so it might go up to the 2.5 goal mark, but at the moment they're not expecting over 2.5 in Asia. Looking at the fixed odds in Asia, they got Holland flat. Brazil are drifting, but they are the favourites in Asia. The draw is shortening. It's gone from 3.5 down to 3.4. So we're going to have to monitor that, see what happens tomorrow. And Vegas, the handicap here is 0, so neither side are gaining or giving up an advantage. No surprise here that Brazil then are heavy favourites at that handicap level, so there might be a change in Vegas. The unders and overs here as well, it's the over 2.25 goal market. It is flat at that level, so you might see that staying the same in Vegas. The fixed odds in Vegas, they've got all the teams flat. No surprise here that Brazil are favourites. The draw is the second most likely outcome, while Holland are the outsiders in this game. Looking at the betting exchanges, at the moment there's about 2.5 million matched. So it's not as big as we will see. That could be well over the 10 million mark by the time we have kickoff. Estimated at 12, but we'll see what happens. The betting exchanges, Holland are actually shortening at the moment. Brazil are drifting slightly, but Brazil are the heavy favourites. They went from 1.97 up to 2s, while Holland went from 4.7 down to 4.6. The draw is also shortening, went from 3.5 down to 3.45. So there's a bit of support here for Holland and the draw at the betting exchanges. In terms of percentages matched, there's 11% matched on Holland. Brazil are actually losing a bit of support. They went from 79 down to 76% of the 2.5 million that's matched. And the draws, after picking up a bit of support, they went from 10% up to 13%. So they are picking up a bit of support there. Look at the unders and overs markets at the betting exchanges. It's slightly drifting. It was 2.36, now it's 2.38, and it's only 21% of the market that's actually on the overs. So the unders here are taking a firm advantage at the betting exchanges. Looking at the bookmakers, they've everything flat for the last couple of days. The Holland are 4.5, the draws at 3.4, while Brazil are the favourites at 1.9. The over 2.5 goal market is at 2.25. So again, the unders there taking an edge on that one. So having a look at some form, Netherlands' form is outstanding really. They've 6 wins in the last 6 games. They've 4 wins in a row in this tournament. So they're doing very, very well at the moment. They've been unbeaten since the European Championships. Even when they got knocked out in extra time, so that still counts as a draw. So they're on about a 20-odd game streak at the moment. Looking then at Brazil, they've 5 wins in their last 6 games, so that's another pretty impressive record. That one draw being their 0-0 draw, which came against Portugal. And so far in this tournament, they have 3 wins and 1 draw. That draw obviously being against Portugal again. Have a look at the rankings. According to FIFA, the Holland are 4th. According to ELO, they're 3rd, so they are in really good form. And according to FIFA, Brazil are 1st, and according to ELO, they are 1st. So again, they're very, very highly rated. Have you look at some streaks in this one. The Netherlands have only scored more than twice in one of the last 27 World Cup games, so it's not really what you'd expect from Holland. You would expect them to be a high-scoring team, but they haven't been all that in this competition. The last two times the Netherlands have made it past the second round of the World Cup, they faced Brazil in '94, and they also faced them in '98 in the semi-final. They met in the quarters, I think it was, in '94 in the United States, and obviously they lost both times. Uh, Remember Bebeto and Romario scoring. I think it was a 3-2 game in '94. It was a quality game. Uh, Wesley Sneijder has bagged 4 goals in his last 6 internationals, so he's doing exceptionally well. Um, 20 of the last 23 Dutch World Cup games have been from, or their goals have been from open play, so they're not a set piece team. We've seen a lot of teams in this competition who have a lot of their goals coming from set pieces. The Dutch aren't one of them, so look to them to score from open play, especially Robin. He looked very impressive in his cameo so far. Hit the post in his first game where he came on as a sub, and he obviously scored the last time out against Slovakia. Brazil have conceded just 4 goals in the last 11 World Cup matches. They conceded 2 so far at this World Cup, but they've been on a very, very impressive run of form under Dunga as well as their recent World Cup form. Luis Fabiano has hit 13 goals in his last 13 competitive matches for Brazil, so he's without doubt their main man for goals. He's scored a good few in this competition and is looking likely to be one of the main runners for the Golden Boot. Brazil have won the last 19 matches that they've been leading at half-time. As you can see here in the FIFA simulation, it's Brazil were leading, and then they just got pegged back just before half-time, so that wouldn't affect this stat. Juan's goal against Chile was the first goal from a set piece at the World Cup since Ronaldinho's famous lob free kick against England in 2002. If you remember that, he lobbed David Seaman from about 45-50 yards. I remember the joke about that one, but I won't tell it here. Two sides have met 3 times at the World Cup before. Brazil have won twice in '94 and '98, while the Netherlands have just won just once. So obviously Brazilians are taking the advantage. Brazil have only conceded 2 goals in their last 8 World Cup games against European teams. So the South Americans here are pretty strong against their European counterparts. So having a look at the referee for this one. The referee is Nishimura. He's ref 50 games. He's given 197 yellows, giving an average of 3.94 yellows per game. He's given 8 red cards in those 50 games, giving an average of 0.16 reds per game. He's given 9 penalties in those 50 games, giving an average of 0.18 penalties per game. So far he's refed 3 games in this World Cup. He refed Uruguay-France, there was no goals, there were 7 yellows and 1 red. He refed Spain versus Honduras, where there was 2 goals and he gave 2 yellows. He also refed Paraguay-New Zealand, there was no goals and there was 3 yellows. So he hasn't been in charge of the most goal-fest of games so far, so we'll see if that continues. He has obviously sent off Lodorio for Uruguay in the first game. Have a look at the goals scored. In qualifying, the Dutch scored an average of 2.125 goals per game, while they conceded just an average of 0.25. So they were very, very impressive in qualifying, although it was a bit of a weaker group. So far in this World Cup, they scored an average of 1.75 goals per game, and they conceded just an average of 0.25. So they're one of the only teams to have won all their games, and they've only conceded just the 1 goal, which was a penalty against Cameroon. So they have been yet to be broken down from open play. Actually, they gave away another penalty as well against Slovakia, so again, just penalties they're worried about. Have a look then in Brazil, they scored an average of 1.83 goals in qualifying, while they conceded an average of 0.61. So far in this competition, they scored an average of 2, while they conceded just an average of 0.5. So very impressive there from Brazil. Have a look at some probabilities. The computed probabilities in Holland give them a 21% chance. The implied odds, or play probabilities, also give them a 21% chance. So it looks like they're fairly priced at the moment. Brazil and the computed are 57%, while the implied probabilities have them on 51%. So it looks like there's a little bit of value here still to be had. And the draw comes in at 22% according to computed, while it's at 28% on the implied probabilities. So I will be looking tomorrow, see if there's a handicap change, possibly looking to Brazil on the handicaps at the moment. We'll have to see if there is a shift. So check out twitter.com/BetHelper to get my updated video for tomorrow. And check out the link below if you want to receive my free ebook.